So this project is called Type is Art, and we're gonna sort of work with type a little bit differently than you've worked before. Although some of you may have done and definitely seen projects like this. So you're gonna find a quick image of something, and it doesn't have to be too complex, too crazy, but you're gonna use type to create the shape. So it doesn't have to make sense. Like with this image, you can see everything says meow, 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 meow. So it doesn't have to, necessarily even be readable. It just sort of has to be a way to play with your typography. This one's a little, kind of cool. This one was done by a student years ago, one of my design students, and you can see it's lines, main, lines, main, lines, main, face, 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 face. Here's another really cool one. So we're gonna take type in Illustrator, and we're gonna kind of create it in a way that you guys haven't really worked with it before. So I'm going to start off just by getting a flower image, and I'm going to do a clip art because, again, it doesn't matter necessarily if it's high resolution. So I'll just search clip art, and that one looks good. And I'm simply going to drag and drop it right to my desktop so that I have it. Okay, that'll allow me to kind of pull it up later. You're going to go to Open, and you're going to open up your file in your Exploratory Phase 2 folder. All right, that says Type is Art. Type art. You're going to open that up, and it's just a blank file. What it gives you two layers: type here and image here. All right, pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to click on the image here layer, and I'm going to drag and drop my flower. All right, you can scale it if you want to. You can keep it the way it is. I'm going to scale it a little bit just so I can work with it. Okay, and then I'm going to lock it. Excuse me, because I don't need that to be moved at all. So the type tools are over here. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple. The regular type tool. All right, what you want to do in type when you're using type in Illustrator is you want to click. Okay, if I click and type, I'll get my font here, and I can actually scale it by holding the Shift key, or not hold the Shift key and kind of get all kinds of wonky effects. All right, but that allows me to scale it. You can use the type tool and create a box. The problem with that is it fills it with multiple text, and you're not actually able to scale it. And for this project, you really want to be able to scale it. So again, the easiest way to do this is simply grab the type tool, click. So if I just wanted to use the word flower, okay? If I want to change the font, all right, if I go to my properties panel here, I have a character, and this is where I can change the font. And this little drop down gives me all the different fonts I want. And ideally, you kind of want to use a font that sort of reflects the piece that you're using, but you can kind of play around a little bit. So I'm going to use that one because I like that. Okay, to change the size of the font, you can scale it. Okay, or if you're really feeling good, you can go through and actually put in the number if you wanted to. But again, why I have you doing it this way is a lot of times it's just easy to hold the Shift key and just scale the type to fit the space that you want. Okay, to change the color of the font, you have it highlighted. Just click on it with your selection tool, the regular selection tool, not the direct selection tool. All right, and just double click the font color, and you can change it to whatever color you want. All right, you can always change it afterwards if you wanted to as well. For now, I'm just going to keep this a black because on top of my image, it's going to be easier to read. Okay, so that's how you change the font here. That's how you change the size, and that's how you change the color. All right. So what you're basically going to be doing is you're going to take this word, all right, or multiple words depending on how you want to do it, all right, and you're going to lay it out on top of the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy. I'm going to make a copy of this, and to do that, you can either hit Command C and Command V to copy paste. You can go to Edit, Copy, and then Edit, Paste. Or if you want to do the easiest way, if you hold down the Option on your keyboard and drag, you'll end up with multiple copies. Okay, you can just drag and copy. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to bring it over here. Now I am going to show you another trick in a second. All right. Now, right now, I've got this, but I have this space kind of filled out. So what you want to make sure you do is, again, I'm going to make copies. So right now this is tilted, so I'm going to make another copy. And I'm going to hold the Shift key, and I'm going to scale. The more versions of the word that you use, or words that you have, okay, the better off it's going to look. So I'm actually going to stretch this out to fill. Okay, and then I'm going to take another one and copy and paste, and I'm going to put it right here, and the same thing, I'm going to kind of stretch it out to fill it. All right, and now the objective here, again, if I take this, let's stretch this out a little bit more. If I option click and drag, okay, the more you use it, the more words you use, the more you rotate it. Even if I wanted to do something like this, where if I take this, and again, I just grab a corner and I rotate, you can go this way with it. Right, and I can scale it and kind of mess around with it a little bit and then rotate it to fit. But really what you're just trying to do is you're just trying to fill the space so that if you look at your layer, you can hide the image and you can start to actually see the shape of the form that you're using, okay? For those of you that really want to get kind of crazy, if you take the type all right, with the selection tool, and you right click on it and you say create outlines, what you can do now is this is now like artwork. So if I just ungroup it by right clicking and say ungroup, click off, I can actually change individual sizes of letters and kind of flip them around if you really want to mess around with that. Okay, so that's just outlining and then ungrouping, and then I'd want to just group it back together again, because if I don't, I'll end up with separate letters. Okay, so you're going to work on this project for a little while, try to solve the problem of the shape that you have. I would suggest you do something relatively simple, like you don't want to do a ball, that's kind of boring, but you certainly don't want to do, you know, like a character from a PS5 game, because that's going to take you forever. And I kind of wanted you to kind of work through this and kind of finish it. When you're done, if you want to print it, you just hide the layer of your image and go to File and Print, and you can print it right to the HP or the Fiery, whichever one. The HP printer, remember, is the one in the back of my room, and the Fiery is the one that's out in the flex space, in our little DVC flex space. All right, so that is the Type is Art project. Once you're done with that, all right, you're going to save the file. So as you're working, I'll have this and I'll say File, Save As, and I'll just put my name in front of it. I'm going to save it in my folder, Mr. B, and save it. You're going to upload that to Classroom so that I have a copy of it. Okay? Great. Thank you.